can make this quick. Finish this fast. Take this, dragon fist. Kick your ass and you'll walk with the limp. Trash. You're getting.
I've been parts of fandom pretty much since fandoms have been a thing, and I was old enough to be a part of them. I'd say in the past maybe 5 to 7 years, there's been a big push of what I call the normie migration into fandoms. Now, when I say normie, I am not saying that as an insult. Everybody is a normie about something. I just mean you have a casual, maybe superficial interest in something. Like, I'm a normie about most sports. But you have a lot of people who are like really normie about certain properties until they see one thing about it that they like. And usually that thing is like super, super, super woke. So now they're like, oh, this is for me now. I could never get into this property before because it was just too white and too cis and too male. But now there's a woman in the forefront. So now I get to come in and I get to run the fandom and I get to call everyone else a sexist and a misogynist and a racist. Like Doctor Who, for example. I don't know if you noticed, but the current Doctor is played by a woman.
Yes, I remember when that happened. Yeah. And the world exploded for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm. There are people who really didn't give a damn about Doctor Who until Jodie Whittaker became the Doctor. So they start watching Doctor Who and they're like, oh, there's a female Doctor now. Now it's good. And like all the other shit was either bad or irrelevant. And then you have people who've been watching the show for a long time criticizing Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. And then they look at her like, oh, well, you have a problem? Why you don't like her is because she's a woman. It's like, you remember them old In Living Color skits? Where, like, Damon Wayans would play, like, some hotep where everything was because the white man. And why I can't do that? Why you ain't letting me in this house?
Yes.
Because I'm black?
Yes.
It's like, y'all do know that was a parody, right? That was a joke.
Okay, but this is also a problem to me because the Doctor is a woman now, so more people felt like they could watch it and enjoy the show because it's female-led. Okay, get it. And then, maybe look at some of the other seasons. There are other really great women in the Doctor Who series. Like, even I know that, and I only watched like a season and a half.
My favorite companion of New Who, Martha Jones. People go so on and on and on about how, we need all this representation. There was a multi-part episode where she and the 10th Doctor were living in the past in like early 1900s England, and she was a nurse or studying to be a nurse, and some Karen decided to tell her that wasn't proper because she was black and a woman, and she sunned this woman simply by holding up her hand and correctly identifying every bone in the human hand. Martha Jones did that in like the early 2000s, again before the woke revolution in media. But now y'all gotta dedicate whole seasons to this shit. Get it out.
Well, and I mean, I don't have a problem with the Doctor being a woman. My point, just like what you're saying, my point is just that, like, if you're gonna like a show, like the damn show. You can point out problems with it. You can say that it's, maybe you feel like it's problematic that this is the first time the Doctor's been a woman. But I just feel like you're missing out on so much by not appreciating the other characters in the show beforehand. Because like you said, all of these great women characters existed. Like, they existed. And you're just ignoring them.
Fucking River's song was like a beast. They turned the Master, the Doctor's like arch nemesis. Because they established at a certain point in Doctor Who continuity that Time Lords can change gender upon regeneration. He came back and he was a woman at one point, and she called herself Missy, and that's probably like my second favorite iteration of the character. And I'm like,
yeah, but if it's the rival character, it can't be a woman because then they're not looked at in a good light. Clearly, all women are perfect.
But that was so good. You had this woman who was an older woman who was kooky, totally off her gourd, who was doing all this shit, who was a strong rival and could challenge the Doctor. That was great. Give me that shit. But then we get to this one, and it's like they can't shut up about the fact that she's a woman. I'm talking about in the show.
Yeah, that's a problem for me too, because the Doctor's existence is weird, period. Like, it
Yes.
shouldn't be more surprising that the Doctor is a woman.
Right.
Like, the surprising thing should be that it's an alien.
Yeah.
Like, or I'm sorry, a Time Lord or whatever. That's the surprising part, not that it's a woman. Why do people want to do that? Yes, I'm black and I'm queer and I'm. It's only interesting when it's interesting. Like, it's not interesting all the time. I'm saying, like, it's not interesting that I'm a black woman, like, when I go pee. Like, that's not
Right.
interesting. I just think we're all people, and I get so weirded out by this whole, like, idea that these identifiers have become, like, personality traits, and that's all that we can talk about. We don't have any, like, other substance to go on.
Oh.
It's one thing when people are, like, reclaiming things, and, like, you know, they've had a difficult past, or you're, like, trying to deal with everything that's going on in the world, and so you talk about it more in those instances, and that I totally understand, but it's still not a personality trait. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
So you mean to tell me that my Twitter bio can't just be my race, sexuality, gender identity, ability, social economic status, and how fat I am, and that not tell every single thing about me?
I mean, I feel like it does say something about you, but it's probably not great.
Exactly.
But, like, yeah, I don't know.